DC vs. Vampires is a thrilling tale of horror that pits the vampire nation against the humankind to take over the earth. And in today's video, we will review top 10 saddest dates in DC vs. Vampires. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and turn on all the notifications to never miss any future uploads. Please like, comment and share. All the text and images are owned by a suspected company. You can support them by purchasing it digitally or from any offline stores. Andrew Bennett, also known as the Eye Vampire, rushes towards Hall of Justice to warn the Justice League about the vampire invasion. But on his way, he gets hit by a car and becomes exposed in the open sunlight. But right in the nick of time, Hal Jordan arrives and brings him inside the Hall of Justice. When inside, Bennett informs him that Mary, the queen of the vampire cult, has been murdered. And as he starts to track the trial of the murderer, it leads him into the Legion of Doom, where he discovers the vampires brutally killed the evil team as well, and now they are planning for the global domination. As Hal asks Bennett if he told anyone else about this matter, he responds he hasn't told anyone else. And right at that time, Hal Jordan reveals himself as a vampire and brutally murders Bennett with sunlight created by his ring. And then he neutralizes the witness, Zan of the Wonder Twins, and blends him into smoothie, which he consumes him right at that spot. As the issue reveals Hal Jordan as a terrifying powerful vampire, he then lured the Flash to a remote beach to discuss about the upcoming threat against the Justice League. But as they start to talk with each other, Hal reveals that this meeting is actually a trap and he binds him with his power ring. Then he explains that he tried to convince his master to turn Barry into vampire, but his master ordered him to kill Barry because if he turned into one of them due to his high metabolism, he had wiped out the humanity, which will cause a major problem for the vampire nation. As a result, Hal Jordan breaks their long-lasting friendship and kills Barry by snapping his neck with his power ring. Next, Hal targets Wonderwoman, but she realizes something off about Hal and she binds him with a lasso of truth. With the vampiric Hal bind in her lasso, she learns the truth about her teammate's fate and the plot of the vampire invasion. But before Diana can understand Hal's true power, he uses his hypnosis technique on her and enters his teeth inside Diana's neck and turns her into a vampire, which ultimately kills her humanity and converts her into a monster. Later, Constantine is approached by vampire Zatanna in a bar, where she reveals that she is on the hunt for new recruits in the upcoming vampire war. And then she jumps on Constantine to turn him into one of them. But before she can reach him, Constantine restrains her with his magic. But rather than killing her, he frees her and decides to have a nice chat. But as they try to bond with each other, Dr. Fate arrives and kills the vampire Zatanna by burning her with his magic, which completely upsets Constantine as he lost his best friend. Meanwhile, Batman and Green Arrow are the only ones who are uninfected and can stop the vampire invasion. So they start to make a strategy to go up against the vampire cult. But right at that time, Vampire Green Lantern, Wonder Woman and the rest of the League members arrive and Hal tries to frame Batman as a vampire for killing their teammate, Barry Allen. But as Batman and Green Arrow are uncertain about whom to trust, they put themselves against the League members in a brutal fight. With their combined willpower and technique, Batman and Green Arrow starts to take down the League members one by one. And as they try to kill Hal, Wonder Woman confronts them and injures them badly. and right at that time, she grabs the confused hot girl and turns her into a vampire. As no other options left, Batman and Green Arrow escapes the fight and burn down the whole Wayne Manor. Meanwhile, the Task Force X raids a warehouse in search of the Joker, but there they find some dead bodies whose blood totally drained off. But before they can understand anything, King Shark suddenly attacks Black Spider and completely devours him. And right at that time, Savant and Parasite reveal themselves as a vampire. But before they can harm them, Batgirl saves the day and kills Savant with a wooden spike. Harley then quickly contacts Amanda and tells her the whole situation and mentions her that she and Deadshot are up against the vampires. But as she forgets to mention that Captain Boomerang is still alive, Amanda activates the bombs that implanted inside their head, which ultimately kills King Shark, Parasite as well as Captain Boomerang. But later, Deadshot finds the dead body of Joker and discovers some vampire has drained all the blood out of him, which makes them sure that Joker is not the Vampire King. Later, at the Gotham Harbor, the Bat family is preparing themselves to make a strategy against the vampires, but right at that time, Vampire Hal and Diana shows up, and as a result, the Bat family and Green Arrow charge at those vampires' direction to defeat them. By using the high voltage light, they defeats Diana and captures her with the lasso of truth. But as they proceed to kill Hal, he releases his full power and ties all of them. But before he can end their life, Alfred shows up behind Hal and cuts off his right hand, which completely depowers him. Then they bring Hal into high voltage light room, and Oliver comes in front of his old friend as he wonders if the real Hal still lies inside that monster. But as Hal tells him he is the same person, it hurts Oliver as he knows the real Hal could not live with what he did to Barry. So to end the suffering, Oliver kills his best friend by stabbing a wooden knife into his heart. After Oliver kills Hal, Barbara contacts Batman and informs him that Joker is dead and he is not the Vampire King, as someone is trying to frame him, and she suspects that the main culprit is one of the Bat family members. But before Batman can realize the upcoming danger, Dick Grayson appears behind him and impales his chest with his bare hand, which possibly kills Batman, and reveals himself as the Vampire King. Then he murders Tim Drake by crushing his head into the ground. Seeing his father's horrible fate, Damian jumps into action and tries to kill his brother, Dick Grayson. But his efforts also seems fails, as Dick manages to dodge all of his attacks and bites his neck, which remains only one person, Jason Todd. The two former Robin then goes head to head against each other. But even with the enhanced abilities, Nightwing turns out to not to have the upper hand on Jason Todd. Jason then manages to seriously wound Grayson and proceeds to kill him. But before he can do that, the vampire Diana bites him from behind. Jason ultimately encouraged Green Arrow to kill him before he becomes corrupted. As a result, an arrow flies through the air and takes away Jason's life. The last one is Superman, as Vampire Hell informs the team that they have already turned Superman into one of them, because in the previous battle, Batman knocks Superman with the kryptonite gas, and as he was under the effects of kryptonite, it makes the vampire easy to control him. Even though Superman is immune to vampire bites because of his solar radiated blood cells, Superman has a notable weakness to magic and supernatural powers, so the vampires can easily hypnotize him and use him for their own selfish needs. So which part you like the most? Please share your thoughts on the comment section down below, and also please subscribe as this will motivate me to make more contents. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.